then we will certainly let them in and start the journey here. I am, by the way, so my name is Sarah Williams. I am the president and founder of Sacred Seeds Foundation, where Sacred Seeds Foundation is sowing seeds and healing nations through dedicated advocacy and support for industrial hemp here in Alaska, food sovereignty, and plant-based healthcare. And so that is our mission. We are really just world changers as a team. We're a group of faith-filled women that simply want to see something better for our state than what we have now. And so I'm recording this evening because we're going to go ahead and prepare this for live dissemination, for public dissemination. We want everyone to know about this incredible opportunity that we are putting out to Alaska to be able to create some homegrown infrastructure. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Towards the end here, I will introduce everyone else on the call. Actually, I'll have them introduce themselves. They are my amazing ladies of Sacred Seeds Foundation. So let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Let me push the right button here.
I think I disconnected. Okay. I think earbuds is the way.
Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my video. I'm going to turn off my video for the time being. And that way, anyone who needs to walk behind me can do that without being distracting, right? And let's go ahead and get started in this. So the purpose of today's presentation is to talk about the $28 billion threat. Recently, what happened on November 11th was our federal government decided that they should slip in a little tiny sneaky line into the appropriations bill. I have to control my words right now because I'm still very angry of the way it was done. And all of it will come out. But what's exciting too is it's built a fire amongst us who really want to fight for something that is good for Alaska and good for the country and good for the nation. And so today's topic is defending our state's hemp economy from federal overreach. And so this industry killing provision that came in was this last minute amendment to the federal funding bill that threatens to destroy our state here in Alaska and across our nation, our entire hemp industry overnight. This is very, very difficult. So this hemp ban that passed, this is Section 781. If you're not familiar, our government at this time has just reopened after a 40-day, something like that, 40-day shutdown, where they began to blame each other for this side wouldn't agree with this side. And somehow in the meantime, all of America is trying to figure out, are we going to get our benefits? Is the military going to get paid? What's going to happen? And so what happened then is that we had, they finally came to an agreement. And then what happened from there was that somebody snuck this little bill, this little amendment inside this appropriations bill. It's totally unrelated. It's not a standalone bill. It was put inside of must-pass federal appropriations bill. It avoided all expert testimony and committee hearings. So it was sneaky, absolutely sneaky. What does it do, though? It scraps the 2018 Farm Bill's definition. The 2018 Farm Bill definition was that hemp was defined as a 0.3% Delta-9 THC. This is a standard across the entire world. This is the standard that identifies hemp as hemp. The 0.3% Delta-9 THC is no more of that psychoactive chemical the hemp plant produces. By nature of its genetics, it produces other cannabinoids. I don't know, Bertha, you can probably tell me more exactly, but 90 some odd cannabinoids, quite a few, right? There's many different cannabinoids. But what happened was this bill said all products are banned with quantifiable amounts of total THC, including seeds and flower that produces tiny amounts of THC. So if you're not familiar, the hemp plant, which is the cousin of the cannabis plant, has this wide array of compounds in it called cannabinoids. The human body has a natural endocannabinoid system. This endocannabinoid system balances out your hormones. It balances out your entire system. But what happens is the natural toxic world that we live in, I wouldn't say natural, the unnatural toxic world that we live in has a tendency to disrupt those hormones or to produce toxins within your body. And so thus you have dis-ease and your endocannabinoid system becomes imbalanced. And so what happens then is hemp becomes your natural balancing nature product to try to bring balance back to the human body. The problem for where this bill comes from is that there are particular cannabinoids, specifically Delta 8, THCA, THC0. These are cannabinoids that show up within the hemp plant in tiny quantities, but thank you, human beings, when you extract them and you add them to other things and put them into a gummy bear or put them into a drink, you create an intoxicating product that naturally would not occur in hemp, but you have it if it is synthetically created like that. So inevitably, I get it. Government wants to protect children. They want to protect consumers to make sure that they understand that this product is intoxicating, or not. But the problem with this is it will destroy the market because it makes 90 to 95% of all current legal hemp products totally illegal, including non-intoxicating CBD and even seeds for fiber and grain. So what is currently growing in our states would have to be cut down. Now we have a year to figure this out, right? So what are the national stakes? We're not talking about Alaska just yet. We're just talking about the national stakes. So currently about 325,000 jobs are at stake, right? That's a problem. We're not talking about a little niche market. We're like, oh, there's 1,000 jobs, nobody's going to really feel it. This is a $28 billion industry and over 13 billion in annual wages. So it's a direct threat to our farmers, our manufacturers, our small business owners who built this industry from the ground up based on all of the wonderful direction in the 2018 Farm Bill. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to build something a little bit different here in Alaska. This isn't just a federal issue, though. It is a direct threat to our state's economic future. These are the innovative ventures at risk. So this is where I'm going to turn my video back on because I need you to see my face when I speak about these things, because these are so vitally important to my heart. This is my calling that the Lord Jesus has put on my life. And I have been developing these things for quite some time. And so let me get back here into, hold on. I'm trying to get back into this presentation. Oh gosh, hold on, guys. I'm going to stop it.
It's up for us.
And it's up for you guys? Okay, good. All right. Well, not anymore because now you see my face. But all right, we're going to go ahead and go back here. And then I'll go back into this guy. And then we'll hit share. Okay, great. All right, we're back at it. All right, so the innovative ventures at risk. So here in Alaska, we passed Senate Bill 6 in 2019. And at the time, Senator Shelley Hughes advanced that. It passed and it produced a framework to move the 2018 Farm Bill into our real life capability as Alaskans. Now, we legalized cannabis as a state in 2014. We did that through initiative. We did it at the polls, basically. And the Cole Memorandum in 2013 that said states can decide whether they want a legal cannabis industry or not. Well, we decided as a state. And so I was heavily involved with the development of those regulations to be able to create that industry. I served as the chair for the Marijuana Advisory Committee for the Mat-Su Borough, which is our local county or borough, wherever you're located. You can understand that terminology. And so we produce regulations for cultivation facilities and retail facilities and how to protect children and how to make a legal, regulated industry, and it has thrived. In fact, there are more cannabis shops in the state of Alaska per capita than there are coffee shops, which is strange. But that's the world we live in. And so that produced a framework that, ladies, my mic can catch you. So so what that did was that produced a framework to be able to develop the control we needed over these THC laden hemp products as well. So for it to be completely banned at the federal level, what that means here locally is we have to fight again at the state level to produce a resolution to say, why don't we just put these things under the Alcohol and Marijuana Control Office? We'll discuss that later. But some of the other things that we stand to lose is this hemp construction facility, that's what we're here to talk about today, is a manufacturing facility for carbon negative, fire resistant hempcrete and other hemp building materials. It's the future for sustainable building here in Alaska, where we count on everyone else to ship us everything that we need. It's very concerning when we can't even build our own houses, when we have to count on, when we recently had a typhoon on our western Alaskan coast, we're going to have to ship in lumber and ship in these things to be able to build our communities back. That's very not self-sustainable, right? We need help with that. So we decided to start as a champion of this hemp construction facility, and we're going to talk about that a little bit in a moment, but also advanced healthcare. All of us that are a part of this team advocate for plant-based healthcare. We recognize that healthcare in Alaska is uncontrolled. It is absolutely out of control. It is profit driven. It is driven by money, and it is no longer concerned with whether patients are healthy or whether they can afford healthcare. It is also very disconnected. You go to one doctor for this lab and another doctor for that thing, and it's very disconnected. So we've decided to create the ultimate checkup experience, which is modeled after the Turkey after a ultimate checkup experience in Turkey, which leverages hemp-derived and plant-derived wellness products for preventative care. It's a head-to-toe healthcare experience that helps our patients truly understand their health from the inside out as a holistic statement. Also, another initiative is the e-commerce platform. This is hempforhealthcare.com. This is what we are currently raising money for right now. This is a dedicated marketplace that connects consumers with Alaskan grown and made products, and then vetted high quality hemp and wellness products. If you don't know, Alaska only produces 5% of her own food supply, and that's terrifying. To live in a world where we are absolutely controlled by being able to have to ship in those kinds of things and to not be able to grow it ourselves, that's concerning to us. So we stand for building our economy by keeping the money right here. All right, so the other pieces are the social initiatives. So this is the Harvest of Hope project, which is part of what Sacred Seed stands for, which is our hemp houses for the homeless. This is a program that aims to rehabilitate and heal our homeless populations by first housing them in hemp homes, and then rehabilitating them through a group of individuals that are coming alongside of them. This is a faith-filled program, so we invite Jesus into the conversation and into the relationship with them and truly bring solid healing that can transform lives. Additionally, we have the Industrial Hemp for Prisons program. This is a program that utilizes our prison populations to produce hemp products for our state, as well as build usable skills during their incarceration period. So we have all of these prisons across our state, and they are sitting there, and they have all this land attached to them, and you've got all these people that are sitting there. And what if we could produce a product that could then be purchased by our government, that could then be used in our state? What if we created a community like that? And then finally, just the other innovation we stand to lose is the hemp innovation, right? Overall, the plant produces 50,000 different uses across a variety of industries, and the spectrum of it. It can create jobs, it can build economic stability, and it can produce self-sustainability for our great state of Alaska, which is what we strive so desperately to do. Of course, hemp is a versatile powerhouse, right? So these percentages are basically the current composite of the industry: industrial fiber, textiles, biocomposites, hemp as plastic, construction materials, hempcrete, hemp insulation. We'll discuss that in a moment. Of course, health and wellness, so CBD, CBG, topicals, drinks, all sorts of things. And then grain and seed. This one is vitally important, I think, mostly to Alaska, because we need a homegrown food supply that we can produce for our people. And of course, hemp seed can produce everything from ice cream to bread. So we can do amazing things with hemp seed. All right, we're going to talk about now the carbon negative solution. So hemp construction, and why we decided to start with hemp construction, is it's a key opportunity for our state. So every approximately 2,500 acres of hemp sequesters 22 tons of carbon dioxide, and about 1 acre of hemp can produce as much as 4 acres of trees in production for fiber. So we love our trees in Alaska. We love our wilderness in Alaska. We love all of that. And so the idea that we would have to cut down all of our trees so that somebody could have toilet paper, it just doesn't, there's other solutions, right? We can create better solutions. So it's sustainable, right? It replaces carbon intensive concrete and fiberglass. It's energy efficient. It's superior insulation, cuts energy costs by over 50%. Here in Alaska, Chugiak Electric down in Anchorage and Eagle River, they just increased their electricity rates, especially in our rural areas. We certainly need electricity and energy efficiency as we build for the future. And then, of course, it creates local economies. So we can grow it right here in Alaska. We can ship it everywhere across our very large state. We can do great things with it, but it also produces manufacturing, which is something that our state desperately needs if we're going to step forth into a greener future. So let's build a greener future together, right? So GreenBuild Composites, Point McKenzie, Alaska. So Point McKenzie is currently located in a portion of Alaska that is on a port. It has a port. And so it's very much a key location that we want to put. But additionally, right across the street from where we're looking to place this building is a biochar and a biomass facility that is seeking to produce biomass for jet fuel. Just such great things. So Point McKenzie is certainly where we're excited about it. So as GreenBuild is an Alaskan innovator, we will turn Alaskan grown hemp fiber into carbon negative building materials. Our products are stronger than wood. They're fire resistant, pest resistant, and mold resistant. So the goal here is that we're projected to create potentially countless jobs. Of course, the manufacturing facility could produce, 12 to 20 jobs alone, but we're going to need growers, and we're going to need transport, and we're going to need logistics. And we have the potential, but then we have a potential to increase the building within our state, because now we have this homegrown made thing that can build more houses. And so we certainly have a great opportunity for building with hemp in Alaska. So another product beside we'll discuss the hempcrete here in a moment, but is this hemp core beam. So this is a carbon negative structural alternative for modern construction. One of the products that we look at possibly completing with this manufacturing facility, it's a 6x12 composite beam. It's about 70% hemp fiber, 30% bioresin. So again, we're building a very strong, sustainable, clean future. That's the goal. And our statistics is it's 40% lighter than wood and 2 times the compressive strength. So it's a lot stronger than it might look. Also, one of the products that we're looking at is prefabricated hemp homes. In partnership with a company out of North Dakota called Homeland Hempcrete, we're looking at creating energy efficient, durable, and healthy buildings for Alaska. So you can see some of the suggested buildings that he has created through his very innovative plan. And it's really kind of a plug and play structure where you can ship it to that location, you put it together, you put your insulation in, somebody calls in an electrician, you put that in, put your drywall on. And even now, I've just recently seen spray hempcrete that can be used, right? The possibilities are endless. All right, so then going on to hempcrete blocks. So hempcrete blocks are made with the easiest of combination. It's hemp hurd, it's lime, and it's water. 3 things, all things we can produce here in Alaska, all things that we could easily then just put together, create this alternative carbon sequestering mason alternative. It's lightweight, it's breathable. Did I mention fire resistant? Did I mention mold resistant and pest resistant? So this is an incredible opportunity to produce a different building material for us that would not be the same as concrete. It's just not the same, but it would be better. We like better. All right, so our financial summary that we're looking at for this project, this is just our initial figures. There's a lot still to determine, but these are general things. So our startup capital that's required is about 10 million to 15 million. And this would cover the land acquisition, the facility construction, decortication equipment, and the initial working capital. Our revenue stream would be B2B sales of hemp wool or hemp insulation, B2B sales of all the products that we mentioned, the precast hemp panels, and then also this thing called carbon credit sales. The average compound annual growth rate for revenue growth is projected at about 15% over the first 5 years, outpacing the market average due to scaling precast efficiency. Now, the truth is, we don't know what this is going to do, but we know it's going to do great things. And so we know that if we can bring people to the table and everybody can say, you know what, I'm a build with hemp. I think that's a great idea. And we bring these developers to the table and we just change the discussion. We stop depending on these other building materials and start saying, look at this better alternative that we know it's going to go well. So we just will fight for that to that end. And so our initial funding use is 60% of the equipment and facility, 25% for working capital and inventory, and then 15% for continued R&D and certification. Now I see here where it says focus heavily on automation to overcome the high labor costs. The truth is, I don't want to get to the point that we're only counting on AI. I value human input. I think that's vitally important to understand that humans can use AI as a tool, but we are to not depend solely on it to run our life. We've all seen The Matrix. We've all seen Terminator. We know not to go down that path. However, to avoid AI is not to make good, wise, smart financial and business decisions. So we certainly would focus on automation and determine how we could work that in to also still provide jobs for our people across the state. So what does Section 78 do to us? Well, the truth is the amendment could kill our existing industry. And unless we pivot to manufacturing and show the people that hemp can do so much more than CBD, it could kill our future in hemp as well. And so we, as a team, are absolutely committed to changing people's minds, to helping them see that there is so much more to hemp than the compounds that can be extracted from it, than the fear-driven, what happens if the kids get a hold of it? Well, we have plans for that. We can help with that. We can fix that. That's fine. But to completely say no to hemp is an extremely unwise decision as a leader. It's an extremely unwise decision as a legislator in our state and across this nation. And so we are absolutely committed 100% to changing people's minds and to helping them to see the power of what hemp can do for our nation. So our next steps are to determine the budget. Right? We have to get a very clear budget, finalize the plan, create the pitch deck, of course, start seeking investors. We've started conversations with tribal organizations here. looking at building developers, seeing to what degree they want to be a participants of this. So we've started the conversation already. Of course, building the team for execution. Sacred Seeds Foundation will not be running this project. This is not what we don't have the desire. What we want to do is bring people to the table to execute this. And so hence why some of you who are listening to this and some of you are on this call, you're excited to be a part of it because you want to see this come to pass. Of course, building relationships, securing our first building project, and then developing operating plans and the structure, developing relationships with growers, retailers, supply chain. We understand what has to happen. We fully understand it, and we are committed to making it happen. And the last piece, though, is obtain funding for explaining hemp and hempforhealthcare.com. That's our first step. That's what we're under right now, is a desire and a need to obtain our first launching of our seed money right now. If what you've seen is something you'd like to see more of and you believe in us, I'd encourage you to give. Please donate. We are a nonprofit organization. We do not desire to have multi-million-dollar CEOs and never will be. What we do desire to is use the profits that we create to truly powerfully impact the people around the people in Alaska, and then one day the world as well. And so Explaining Hemp is our podcast. I love people behind me. It's so good. Explaining Hemp is our podcast. It's our video podcast. It's our podcast that we will be using to educate people about hemp, educate them about what their what hemp can do for Alaska and all the different products and how to grow hemp. And there are so many different ideas. We have 100-episode master plan that we have stepped out on. And so we need assistance with funding for Explaining Hemp. So if you're interested in donating for that, you certainly can as well. All right. And now we've come to our questions. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your consideration in joining us on this great mission to save Alaska with hemp. This is a Sacred Seeds Foundation planting, and I am so thankful for my team that has come alongside me in this journey. And so I'd like to take a moment to turn the conversation over to each of them and help them to introduce themselves as to what they do with the organization. And so let me put myself on mute, and we can
Actually, that's a good idea. All right. Hello, my name is Ashay. Tell me when.
Hold on. We have this feedback situation going on.
Sorry, guys, we had to get all this set up. I'm gonna step over here, and then Kashay is gonna introduce herself. Okay.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, my name is Kashay Garrett. I'm the Chief of Staff for Sacred Seeds Foundation, and I am also holding the honor of being the chaplain. Thank you so much for being here.
All right.
I am the fundraising coordinator at Sacred Seeds. And so any donations or anything like that, we'll be working together through me. So you guys can reach out. Feel free to touch base, and I'd be happy to help you.
Thank you.
My name is Lindsay. I am the Director of Regulatory Affairs, and I am a constitutional advocate. It is my desire, as well as our founders of this great nation, that everyone be educated in the ways of the Constitution And so through all of our endeavors, I will be making sure that we are in line with not only the Constitution of the United States, but of Alaska as well.
Hi, my name's Trifana, and I'm a master gardener and a farmer, and I thrive in community connections and learning what everyone does. So I'm going to try my best for the liaison.
Yeah.
And I just love to see what everyone's growing and doing in the state of Alaska. Everyone has a role to play, and as God made plants, every plant has a purpose. So hello.
I love very much that her camera was sideways. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, it's good. I got you. There you are. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that is my team. Thank you, everyone. Our plan here, of course, we've been recording this whole time, and we're gonna, edit, and we're gonna put this out here. But I'd like to have a conversation now with those who are here. Andrew and Bertha, what questions do you have? What comments do you have? Let's have an open conversation, provided Bertha's still with us. Honey, you've been up so late.
I am here.
Peru.
I'm here.
There you are. What were your thoughts, my dear?
Oh my gosh. When you were saying everything, when you were doing your speech, I was just reflecting myself, because that is kind of like my dream, to replicate whatever you're saying and do it here in Peru. I mean, I am located in the high altitude of Cusco, Peru. I'm very close to Machu Picchu. And I work with communities, the Incas communities, the old people, the tribe, the native around here. And I present a project to the government in Peru, and they didn't accept it because all the policies and corruption that is going on in Peru it's really bad. It's
good
really,
to know
really
it's not just the United States of America.
No,
it's good to know.
That is a worldwide situation. And I started looking. I mean, I am very close to the State University of New York and the hemp area, and I did a lot of research with the USDA back in New York, and oh man, and I am working so hard getting some genetics from these particular in a specific altitudes and weather, because here, okay, we don't use heaters. And I do believe in Alaska also have like an electric problem as we do here. And hemp blocks, it will be a very good solution for housing here, and that's what is my heart in. It's not about, I mean, I work in the medical industry for a long time. I did genetics for CBD, I did genetics for CBG, I started looking for THCV genetics. I mean, I did that part, and I started realizing that people didn't notice that hemp can do more than just medicine. Right. And I started searching about hemp industry, specifically on construction, and I'm going to tell you why. My family is located in Gatineau, Quebec, in Canada. My brother is an architect, and he's very, very passionate about construction with eco products, with green products. And when I graduate and I started getting into the genetics for the construction area on hemp, I start talking about it with my family, and they're very, very also excited, because he is an architect. I mean, he knows about more than I do, because I didn't finish architecture, but I did finish cannabis and horticulture in New York. And I don't know, I think we can do so much with hemp. I mean, it's not only construction. We can do parts for cars. We can do um, plastic fibers from hemp
Yeah.
to do 3D printers. Oh my gosh, it's so much. I was searching about a couple of years ago about how to do the perfect product for cat litters with hemp, and oh
Cat
yeah,
litter.
trust me, it works and it's perfect and it's light. You can take it.
Perfect.
It's amazing, and that helped me a lot when I moved from New York to Peru, because I brought a couple of bags, and they were big bags and they didn't really weigh too much for me to bring it. So it was just, oh man, it's so many things that we can do with hemp.
So much. And around this table right here, we got a bunch of cat lovers, and all of us hate the fact that clay bound,
Yep.
cheap, the only type of litter we get is, awful, just awful
Yeah.
for our
Yep,
animals
I
and
know.
for everything. So, yeah, for sure. I love that. The reason why we do these calls on a regular basis is because people come on and they bring just great ideas. Last time we did this call, somebody suggested wood pellets, for hemp pellets,
Yeah.
basically,
Yes,
for
and it
yeah,
burns perfectly
but
for
also for burning,
yeah.
for fire, fireplaces and things like that. It blows my mind. The ability for this plant is just amazing. Amazing. Thank you for
No,
sharing all of
no,
that with
thank you.
us. I
Thank you
am,
for hosting this meeting and for inviting me. It's just amazing how hemp
yeah.
can connect people all over the world, pretty much.
Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it
Hmm.
does. Absolutely. And so because I am a faith-filled woman, I very much believe that you didn't see my post by accident,
Oh, I
that
know.
you're on this call for a very solid purpose. And so
Oh, for
whatever
sure.
that is, let's walk it out together for sure. Andrew, are you Drew? Are you on there you are. I thought that was you.
How's it going?
That is Drew. So I'd like to introduce Andrew. Is it Saban? Drew?
Sublime.
Saban? Okay.
Yeah.
So he is currently a retail store owner down in Kodiak, a retail cannabis store down in Kodiak. When is your sale date, though, Drew?
I basically sold, and it's just the contracts getting drawn up, and
Okay.
I let the new owners take over in December 12th,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I'm
And
on
then
this
you're
ferry.
coming to Big Lake. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I'm coming up to Meadow Lakes. So
Okay. Sure.
yes,
Yeah.
we're close.
Kind of.
Yeah, from the
You're
area.
coming to the Matanuska Susitna Valley,
Yeah,
and
I'm
that's
looking to
it.
get some land in Big Lake or in the valley, and try to build a tiny sustainable house with as much hemp products as I can, and even as a show. And I've been an advocate for cannabis for 36 years. I started selling it back in New Jersey, and I'd go to New York when I was 16, and from there down to North Carolina, then to up in Alaska, and I fought for it to get legal up here, and I created the Kodiak Island Cannabis Coalition because they were going to opt out and not have it on Kodiak, and I rallied the troops and got 50 people down there at the borough to say their piece and create it. And this was before I even had a dream of opening a shop. This was beyond that. I helped a friend of mine open a cultivation. I was a chef for 20 years, and through being a chef and helping my buddy run a cultivation where I was 25% owner, I ended up having the opportunity to build this little shop of mine behind a legendary roadhouse bar and restaurant called the Rendezvous on Kodiak. And
Awesome.
I've ran it for 6 years, but I've also am a musician, so I'm planning on moving to the valley. And now that hemp is on the chopping block again, I plan on advocating for it and trying to help, show demonstrations. And I'm part of a few events that are possibly going to be taking place soon. And yeah, I really want to just see this through and help create an industry in the state. I've talked to people up in Delta Junction about growing it. They grow hay right now, and they would be down to grow hemp if it's all legal, and
Sure.
it can be created, uh, uh, adequate infrastructure, and if we could fight the powers that be, and hopefully our state, as they did with the cannabis industry, will help us along the way and protect us. When they
Yeah.
try to come after this, because they've already AMCO has eliminated the hemp THCA gummies. You can't sell them in pot shops. You can't get them in the stores. They took them off the shelves. They did a great job. And,
Right.
I'm always on top of the, my ear to the ground, listening to what's coming next in this industry. And yeah,
Sure.
I hope to meet up in the valley and discuss it more with you, and eventually try to find myself a little tiny piece of land and create my
Yeah.
little dream tiny home out of the most sustainable thing. Because I was, born in 1975, and I've seen just the BS they've shoved down our throats with the processed foods and the plastic industry and big oil running rampant, and big pharma, is backed by big oil. I mean, they're
You're
all in
preaching.
each
Yes.
other's pockets. So I know. You guys, you all
That's what
know
we
all
stand
this,
on,
so I
sir.
just wanted to let you know where I'm coming from. And
Yes.
yeah, so I'm super excited. And as I said, I can organize events, and I'm a musician. I literally, keep people entertained. I played Salmon Fest 3 times, and I play all over the state. So I got a
Perfect.
microphone and I got a platform.
Yes. You also have a bear on your ceiling.
Yes,
And I
that's
love that always so much.
yes. That is a friend of mine. That's Sky Bear. She's head security, and she's been here the 6 years that I've been open to my shop. My
You gonna
shop's
take her
actually
with you?
today is a 6 year anniversary.
Okay.
No, he's my buddy. She's my buddy Nick. So I'm gonna talk to him, but
Okay.
I don't know if she'll stay behind or if he's gonna say gift it to me. But it's got the
For sure.
tag. It's all legal and everything. So yeah, it's But yeah, I've loved Kodiak. I've been here 15 years. I moved up here from North Carolina. I've seen farmers struggle there growing shitty soybeans and crap corn for grain and shipping overseas. And we need to just really dial things in and bring a manufacturing and textile industry back to the United States. And we had
Like
superior
back
products
to
with hemp.
Alaska.
And they've totally just the ropes alone, like hemp ropes and the polypropylene and all the crap in the ocean.
The
It's
fishing
they could have
nets.
nets, they could have corks, mycelium corks too as well. Not to go on a tangent, but there's
So
huge opportunities there as well. So yeah, my deal is I'm gonna try to get figure out grants and things, and try to figure out a tiny home and really just show people that it can be done. Like, let's show people that I can build a house and I can live in it, and
yes. And it's made out of hemp
prove that
and
it's made of.
mushrooms.
I made this dream out of nothing. This was like I made this shop. I was a paycheck to paycheck chef. I did this with nothing, and I'm getting out of it with a little something to try to buy a little piece of land, and not much, and it's it's a start over. And I'm just really, this industry is I'm a little discouraged and jaded by the cannabis industry as it stands and being federally illegal. It's been very difficult to. I'm on an island to bring money and just get it to the mainland to the cultivators and extractors to pay invoices has been a huge challenge.
Absolutely. Lindsay wants to speak up here. Go.
For sure. Nice to meet you. I'll shut up now.
No worries. No worries. So in my constitutional endeavors, I came across something from one of our founders, George Washington. People might be familiar with him. And so in addition to governmental affairs and our founders wanting us to be keenly knowledgeable as the people and those in control of the things that actually go on in government, they were also very aware of hemp and its many, many uses. 231 years ago, George Washington sent a letter to his farm manager. And in this letter, in part, he says, "I'm very glad to hear that the gardener has saved so much of a seed called St. Foin and that of the India hemp." He says, "Make the most you can of both by sowing them in drills and let the ground be well prepared. And the seed sown in April, the hemp may be sown anywhere." They wanted hemp. George Washington wanted hemp sown everywhere. He used it for fishing nets. They used it for textiles. They used it for paper. There is no reason why we today can't be utilizing this plant in all the ways that it's been, not just in the last 231 years, but for centuries beyond that.
Right.
Our ancestors in countries in Peru and things like that were using this plant for medicine. They were using it for their clothing. They were using it to make their baskets. They were using it for so many things. There's literally no reason other than greed why we can't be making it function for us today. And we have gone ahead in our time and built upon what our founders and the people who came before us have used hemp for. And we've gone to, like Bertha said, we can make car parts out of it. You can make automotive fiberglass out of hemp.
Entire cars.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Entire cars. We can do it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And, we can make reusable plastic drinkware and cutlery and things like that. And so I'm just super jazzed to be a part of this group and just very excited to see where the Lord is going to take all of us on this journey.
Yes. Hey, I'd like to welcome Margot. Margot, you're in. Hi, Margot. Hello. You want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Margot. I'm late.
You're fine.
Yeah, I forgot all about it until I logged back in, and it was like, oh my gosh, it started at 5. Well, better
That's
late
okay.
than
We
never.
recorded it, so you'll be able to watch it later. But so I'm Sarah Williams. I am the president and founder of Sacred Seeds Foundation. My team is around the table with me here. Tell us about you and about your interest in hemp.
Well, I was sparked by a dear friend who would like to bring it to Alaska. And so it was like we were like trying to figure out some logistics. And it's like, it's going to be a project, It's, it'd be interesting
it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see some studies on how well and how suitable it is for, Alaska. I imagine it's very well. And as far as like, natural resources and, it's just beyond me why we aren't using this. It's right at our fingertips.
Right. So to touch on that a little bit, one of the primary hempcrete builders in the world is located in Iceland. And he has very specifically built just entire buildings out of hemp wool, hemp insulation, hempcrete. Understanding specific genetics are better than others, right? To produce fiber versus grain versus, for flour or otherwise. One of the challenges that we have in Alaska's growth industry, though, is to go from seed to seed. Our state, has a whopping 4 to 5 month growing period, and so even though hemp has a low timeline, a small timeline for its growing, to get it from seed to seed, though, is what we're struggling with. We can get it seed to flower with some auto flowering types of strains, but getting it all the way to seed, getting it to grain is certainly something that maybe our southeastern, Ketchikan, Juneau, maybe they're going to have a lot better control and of producing grain than maybe Fairbanks or, Wasilla. But the cool thing is our state is huge. And so we have an opportunity to go, hey, what grows really well down here? Let's just focus on that. Like your segment is going to be this, and then our segment is this. And so where we decided our lowest hanging fruit was that of construction. With the typhoon just happening in Western Alaska, with all of these things, Alaska has very little manufacturing of things that are self-sustainable. And so the root of this is to create a self-sustainable future for Alaska, where I know, because I'm a biblical believer, that the world's going to go to hell in a handbasket at some point. So outside of the state of Alaska, let them do what they will. But our state, I care about our state. I care about making sure our people are taken care of, that our people have food, that our people have building materials, that our people have, fuel for their cars. In the event that all the oil gets eaten up, we have biofuel. The same hemp seed can produce medicine and biofuel and food, and it's an incredible opportunity for us. So I just see it as this like this opportunity. It's not going to be easy, Margot. You say it's not going to be easy. None of us has stepped into this thinking that everybody's gonna love it. We live in a state that is dependent on oil, that thinks that oil is king. Hemp can do what oil can do better. And so we're coming from a place of, well, we're not trying to tell you that you shouldn't buy oil. Yeah, absolutely invest in oil, but we also can produce something that is a greener, cleaner alternative. And we want to see our people healthy again. And continually doing the same thing over and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. And we have to change what we're doing. And so hemp is what we're doing. And so we're really relentlessly pursuing this, just finding the right people, knowing that, we're faith-filled. So we believe that God brought you to this call today, right? And he brought you late to this call today. And that's perfectly great. And that's fine, because we believe in whatever happens for the purposes of what we're trying to do, which is move the needle forward on hemp in Alaska. And so I know that we can do it. We just have to believe, it's faith. It's by faith that we step this thing out, and we just believe that we're going to do it. And so I'm super thankful, of course, for my team. I'm thankful for Andrew being on the call today. Andrew, I want to touch base. Did you have something that you want to mention?
Oh, I just wanted to see if Margo wanted to add anything else.
Okay, perfect. So great. Yeah. And anything else for you, Margo, real quick?
No, I just, as far as like growing, I mean, we have the Tonga forest, and in importing, I mean, is there a way to import, hemp and process it, here?
Sure.
To start the industry, it could be a viable thing is get some barges with some raw materials up here to, at least for demonstrations. There's bringing some hemp builders too. There's people that are doing it around the world I've been following and linking up with them on LinkedIn and such. And it's going to take a lot of education and just finding out what will work and what won't work in this state. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was talking about, well, I wonder what it would cost to, go down to the States and like buy a covered trailer, fill it up and bring it up here. And it seems like it was like, it wasn't really feasible,
I need a
as far as
barge.
like as a independent, personal experiment, type thing. But, if there's like some other way to get it here, some other way to process it here, it's just like, and then, as far as growing too, like, yeah, like you said, Southeast, a lot of timber and stuff has been harvested down there, and they do have a longer growing season. And now it's just a naked forest,
So I want to give you an answer to all of that. So that's what Sacred Seeds Foundation does. Our mission statement is that we sow seeds and heal nations with dedicated advocacy and support for industrial hemp, food sovereignty, and plant-based healthcare for Alaska. And so what that truly means for us, though, is that we come alongside anyone who has a dream for a hemp business of any type. And if that means we come alongside by helping them find funding or helping them write their operations plan or helping them get registered with the state of Alaska at whatever level they need to do with the Department of Agriculture. In my previous life, I helped a number of cannabis businesses get started in our legal cannabis industry. So I wrote their operating plans. I helped them with their applications and got them their licensing, through the process, and then kicked them off. And so that's what my team does, is through the number of different, ladies that we have here, each of us serves a different purpose. Lindsay, with her knowledge of the regulations and whatnot, she looks there and makes sure that your business is regulatory compliant, right? Trifana, with her knowledge of growing, she makes sure that, if you need a resource for growing, she goes and connects you to that resource and helps you find that. And so Sacred Seeds Foundation isn't exactly, we're not in this to own ourselves a manufacturing facility. We're here to produce change. And so it's to bring people to the table. We're a nonprofit organization. We're not here to make a ton of money on the backs of anybody. We're just here to produce something different for Alaska. And so that's all of those little pieces that you've suggested. We can produce answers for that. We're just problem solvers. Oh, you want to produce food in Alaska? Let's figure that out. Let's figure out how we can make that happen. Hempforhealthcare.com, which is the website that we're raising money for right now, is going to feature Alaskan grown food and wellness products and body wash and jewelry, and just really anything that's Alaskan made and grown to help keep the money here in our state and going towards this. Because the plan is one day to take the profits from our organization and pay for healthcare for all Alaskan residents. That is plant-based first and pharmaceuticals dead last. And so really produce a health-driven initiative where hemp pays for healthcare in the end. And so that's the portions kind of the call that you missed there, was the discussions for that. But we do have plans, to really produce change in Alaska and to bring about hemp. One thing I wanted to record specifically on this call, Andrew, you have a plan for printing houses with 3D hemp.
I was looking into there's already people out there doing 3D printed houses with
Okay.
hempcrete. So I was looking into the possibilities of it and figuring out the best way. Right now, it's not approved structurally. It's more of just basically a burn barrier, almost like a drywall is, and insulation purposes. But structural, there could still be challenges. But with the beams and everything else, it's doable. And yeah, it's just other things I'm looking outside the box at, like especially in the future when there is disasters. I mean, I live on Kodiak. I live everything in a flood zone here, a tsunami zone. Every day I worry that I know that everything, my entire house, my apartment I rent, my shop, what I've, created, my little pipe dream here could be gone in an instant. And I've had, 7 evacuations where we run up the hill. I heard you guys had an earthquake this after today. You had a couple
I didn't
of
feel it,
those.
but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always look, tsunami alerts. So that'll be a weight off my mind, getting rid of the shop and moving to the valley for sure.
Sure.
But it was always a thought: if one of these disasters happen, what if you have a barge with a fleet of hempcrete 3D printers and bring it down from up on the mainland and have these things ready to go with like a FEMA emergency disaster type response.
Right. And you could rebuild so quickly. You could
Yeah.
rebuild a community so quickly. And I love that. I love that very much.
And I'm just kind of thinking of things, to help this industry thrive, because there's so many, the facets of it. And I mean, Henry Ford built a car that was completely made of hemp, that ran on hemp fuel. It scares all the industries. It scares the hell out of big pharma. It scares big oil, big plastic, and all these guys are all tied in. And it's eventually like the drywall company will come after it. It'll be so weird, all these different angles of construction materials that are going to be like threatened. It's all about they're not worried about the world. They're not worried about sustainability. They're worried about the bottom dollar, and I'm not. And I'm getting rid of my weed shop, and I'm going on to bigger things, because now it's a bigger fight. We got to fight for just the plant, not even like wheat. Cannabis is here, but now I have to fight for hemp. That's just ridiculous. And I'm hoping, the powers that be, that they realize this. But big alcohol cannot win on this. They won the battle, but not the war.
Yeah, for sure. And Trofana brought up that another sustainable building practice is cob earth houses. So again, a different pathway. I wanted to wrap things up though, for this purpose of this call and keeping it to an hour. I'm really thankful for each of you that came on and shared. I mean, this has been just such a powerful time. And I think we will continue to produce this kind of connection timing, because it allows us to grow in ideas. Plus it builds community. And that's what we're about, is building community around hemp for Alaska. So please join us on our Facebook group, Hemp for Alaska. Also visit Sacred Seeds Foundation on Facebook, soon to be on all the socials. Also, we are raising money for our seed money launch at this point. Our first number is $7,777, because that's the number of the Lord. And so we have it very detailed out. If you're interested in donating, we are specific about being transparent in our organization. So every donation will be listed. There will be an online checkbook that will be listed. So every purchase that we make as an organization will be transparently showcased for everyone in the world to see. There will be absolutely no opportunity for corruption or any. There will be 100% public accountability for us. That's what we stand for, is being transparent with our organization. And so with that, you can visit sacredseedsusa.org. At the moment, it's just a launching pad because we're trying to gather those funds at this point to accomplish great things together. Again, I thank each of you for joining us. And Lindsay would like to make a statement.
Give, Send, Go is where they
givesendgo.com/sacred seeds USA.
And I'm putting it in the chat.
And she put it in the chat. Okay, so good. So good. All right. Thank you again, everyone. I'm sure there's things we didn't get to mention, but feel free to connect with us on Hemp for Alaska or any other place that we are, and we'll keep the discussion going. All right. God bless you guys. Have a great night.
You too.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.